All right. Good evening, everyone. Hello.
TPP, good evening. Please have the play going ahead.
Sorry, come again.
Good evening, VPB. We can hear you clearly.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining in for this session, which is on duty with Joram. A session whereby we are trying to discover JCI, exploit and in adventurous journey. So this one is case of project members, which I am currently supervising. Requested, okay, you once sent a picture which was showing the JCI MEP trainings and etc. But tell us in detail as to the bigger picture of JCI. And I was like, okay, let me do so. So I would love to thank them, and I would like to thank JCI City Board for approving this one so that we are able to do it. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing some of the new members and the prospectives. I hope they join in soon. But let me start by welcoming you all. We have actually made it into the session. Let me welcome our president, President Fortune. Let me also welcome Madam VP Spiwe. Let me welcome our Pierre D, Madam Maidei. Let me also welcome Patience, for today. So this session is quite interesting. I'm going to go through everything that we are going to be doing. But first of all, just for the special mention of our National Trainings Director, I'm going to give him time so that he actually shares his journey like at Tunisia in terms of his AMIC experience. I thought it would be very necessary for young people who we want to explore the areas of opportunities, and traveling is one of them, international collaboration. And I thought, wow, instead of me just talking about it, that people have traveled to these places, I think let me have one of the recent traveling that have happened, and so that National Training Director gets to share with us his experience in the next 15 minutes. So this time, allow me to welcome our National Training Director, President Mubu Dillon Mubu. Welcome, President.
Thank you so much, Joram, for the invitation. I'm so excited to be here. Just confirm if you can all hear me.
Sure, we can, loud and clear.
Awesome stuff. Firstly, allow me to acknowledge the presence of the president, local president, Fortune Kaseke. Thank you so much for the invitation, as well as the local board members for JCI City, and the president, the members themselves that have joined in. I'm so excited to be sharing my journey, but most importantly, I had hoped that maybe I could get some questions and then address them in that manner. At least in that way, I'll be able to cover maybe certain things that people would want to know. If I'm doing a lot of talking, I might be covering, what people might know already or what they don't want to actually hear. So in about 5 minutes or so, I'm going to share my experience, but also maybe just open it up for some questions if there are any. So yes, we had an opportunity to attend the area conference for this year for JCI Africa and the Middle East, which was taking place in Hammamet, Tunisia. Well, it was an amazing experience. There's this issue with traveling or JCI events. You can say everything else, but the best is just to experience them themselves. You can never, ever make someone really get to appreciate or understand everything through talking. But I think for me, firstly, the major highlight is the networking. So personally, I'm a networking enthusiast. So whenever there's an opportunity to meet new people, and discuss business, life, or whatever, I always jump to such opportunities. So this was one special one where you've got people who are coming through from, I think we had representation from more than 40 countries, and registrations were around 467. So you can only imagine the numbers were there, people coming from different countries, different businesses, different cultures. It was so big of an opportunity where personally I wasn't able to meet everyone or talk to everyone. You can't, you just can't. There'll be so many people. But at the same time, through the engagements, you get to learn new things in terms of how other people do it within their various countries or local organizations, JCI wise. Another key highlight is the trainings themselves. So during the course of the event, there'll be various skills and development courses that will be running with trainers coming through from different countries on different topics. So I remember there was one on leadership. I remember sharing some key takeaways on that one, where you really get to know what exactly it means to be a leader, but being trained by someone who's a seasoned trainer, and in a forum where you get to discuss and share ideas with people who are coming from different countries. So that the skills development courses themselves were a major takeaway for me. Why? Because I also believe in continuous improvement. I believe that for us to achieve our own goals, our dreams, and our ambitions, we can only do that if we continuously get better. So sometimes it might not mean that maybe yourself or other people can actually see the difference in terms of how better you are becoming. But in a year, 2 years, 3 years down the line on that course, it starts showing. So I always invest into that. So I had an opportunity to attend those. Besides that, how the General Assembly meetings themselves are conducted, you get to learn how to chair properly a meeting and how to conduct a meeting properly when you've got such huge numbers. So for example, if you're someone who aspires maybe to be an international leader in JCI, international VP, or the president, you then get to observe how others are doing it. And maybe before you get the opportunity, start, preparing yourself and maybe, practicing the same year at home, so that when you really get there, you are really seasoned. So it's, the best practice is time management. The General Assembly meetings, if they were for 2 hours, they would run for 2 hours, no 4 hour or 5 hour meetings. No, because there'll be something else that'll be going on. Event management and planning the logistics, again, through observation, you'll be learning how people run their events, how they do it, so that when you come home, if you're preparing your national convention again, you'll be able to do the same. One thing that I also got to learn is, now that here we speak English and we think maybe we are so learned and maybe English is the best and stuff, when you get there, you get to learn that actually most of the people in Africa actually speak French. So there was a language barrier whereby you've got those people from the French-speaking countries who really want to, connect with you, network with you, get to know you, but you can't because of the language barrier. It was like a wake-up call whereby when I came through, I remember one of the things that I did was to connect with some colleagues who are currently taking some French lessons at Alliance Française to get all the details and stuff so that I can sign up. So that next year, around this time, my French will be better. I think it will take my networking game to a better level, but also open up, more opportunities for me. So that's another key or major takeaway. Then I think besides that, I'll open up, this time for questions for anyone who would want maybe to know anything very, very specific. But I think in short, for me, it was an eye-opening experience. Yeah, I wouldn't trade it for nothing. No regrets.
Wow, that is excellent. Thank you so much, NTD, for sharing your experience. It's the exposure part. If I am to summarize what you were saying, let's say it's a different exposure altogether in terms of the meetings, how they are conducted, and the programming and everything that you were sharing. So thank you so much for sharing. But here we have it, people in this session. It's not a training. I wouldn't want it to be a training. It's just a session, storytelling time, whereby we just want to get to understand pharmacy identity. You also heard that people speak French there. So it's okay if you have your Shona, because I'm sure we also understand Shona in this session. So yeah, those who have questions, Sean, you can ask your questions. You can please unmute, you can raise a hand, you can type in the chat box. Okay, my question is, was this the first time you had a flight? Because for my experience, I haven't had a flight in my life, and I'm really looking forward to it. How, if it was the first time or the second time, maybe how was the experience to and from? Take it.
Okay, cool, awesome. So definitely, it's not my first time.
All right.
I think I've been on the plane a couple of times now. Dubai, Mauritius, South Africa, and a couple of other countries. So it wasn't my first time. So I think you the first time when you're on the plane, that's when I think it's quite different, and where the experience is quite exciting. But then after a while, it just becomes so usual, just like maybe traveling with any other mode of transport. So you get there, if it's a long journey, maybe you're reading a book, you're watching a movie, or you're listening to some music, or you're just sleeping. But otherwise, you might not really, it becomes usual all the time. So for this one, the plane, it was just a usual experience.
I see. All right, there are questions in the chat box. IPP, you can take it. I think you can unmute.
Okay, I hope you can hear me.
Sure, loud.
Yes, I can.
Okay, Etid, I wanted to ask, how was the food in Tunisia?
Okay, so the food was amazing. I was staying at one of the hotels, which was close to, they've got what they call the HQ center, or the headquarters for the conference, which was Golden Tulip. I was staying at Vinci, which was a hotel next to the Golden, to the HQ hotel. So the food was amazing, for a bachelor who sometimes you skip meals because you don't want to cook, or you're always, eating some easy to cook meals, and then you get there, there's your buffet, there's everything to eat and stuff. It was amazing. I think I gained some weight during that week. However, I think for those who were at the HQ hotel, now that because there were like loads of numbers, the hotel, I think, had issues with capacity. So I think for those, there were some complaints with regards to some delays of the food and stuff, but it wasn't really the case with us because we were being served food and getting most of our of our meals at a separate hotel.
All right. Nice. Any questions? Patience, you should have a question. All right, IPP, sure.
Okay, I wanted to ask Entidemobu,
yes,
preparing for an event like AMEC, for example, the one we're hosting for next year, Victoria Falls, how best can we start planning? Is it easy to start preparing the finances 2 months or 1 month prior to the conference? How best can we effectively start planning for the Victoria Falls conference?
Okay, cool. I think that's a key question that you have just raised today. So I think for Zimbabwe, we are lucky that maybe for those who find traveling very expensive and you're not able to maybe travel outside Zimbabwe now, we are privileged to then have AMEC, the same experience coming closer to home, coming home actually, because Victoria Falls is home. It would be nice if we can go there in our numbers, at least everyone who's in this meeting or everyone who's very excited to be part of such an event to go there. Because tell you what, even if it's Zimbabwe, there are certain standards in terms of how this event or the World Congress is run, whereby it's almost the same no matter which area it's being hosted. I was in Mauritius, now Tunisia. You can actually see that the standard in terms of how things are coordinated is almost the same. It was HQ will be sort of like in charge in a way. So what you can do in order to start planning, definitely the finances are always the hindrance. And to be honest, it's not cheap attending these ones. However, it is worth it. The experience that you get there is just worth it. So the best that you can do is, I think you just need to be very intentional in terms of like what you want to achieve or what you want to do within JCI. So for example, myself, I already knew that I want to attend the area conference and the World Congress. So I had it on my goals. I was planning for it, though, you know how it is, there's always a temptation where you might not really stick to your 12-month, saving for 12 months, 6 months, and or you might end up rushing towards the last minute, but it's something that you have always had at the back of your mind. So my advice would be, for those who are planning to attend the area conference next year, the charges are already there. $350 for early bird, $420, then $490 for late registration, $500. So what you might need to do is, Victoria Falls, I think the most expensive will be accommodation. It would be best if you can secure accommodation as soon as possible and lock it in before it becomes expensive. When you're done with that, also secure a registration fee. Then your transport being the last thing. So it now depends with your source of income. If you're someone who is employed, you already know how much you're earning on a monthly basis. So from there, how much can you set aside for you to attend this conference on a monthly basis? Then it then allows you to attend. Because if you want to do it last minute when you've got fixed income, it could then be a challenge. So yeah, what I'd say is I would advise people to just break down the costs, the major cost being your registration fee, your accommodation, and in this case, your transport. Break it down depending on your source of income. See how much you can put aside on a monthly basis, and make sure that you also attend. If you try to do it last minute, it might be a challenge.
Okay, thank you very much, NTD. I'll try to pay mine this side of the year. Thank you.
You are welcome. Also try and get some travel buddies or accountability partners, people that you sort of like plan with. If it's accommodation, you're a group, you're going to be staying, how you're going to be traveling, or maybe assist each other with paying those registration fees. We are paying for maybe Joram first, then we pay for Ningi. So when people have already committed and paid for someone, you can't let them down. You're forced to also pay for someone. So that could be another good way to also make sure that at least you also pay in your numbers and also attend.
Wow, this is excellent. You become accountable. What a method. Do we have any questions, guys, before we release National Trainings Director? Anyone who feels they have a question? All right, there seem to be none. If you have some, guys, you type in the chat box, then we'll always reach out to National Trainings Director. Thank you so much, NTD, for coming through and sharing your AMEC experience. It's something we have been just waiting for, because we were seeing the pictures, we're seeing the experience, and you're like, wow, this experience is something that we also need to just hear. Yes, at least we saw it in the pictures, but we heard it from you. So thank you so much.
You are welcome. Oh, I forgot to share. I think it's a public secret, but I was actually the youngest trainer there. And the training went well. It was amazing. Attendance was good. Engagement was good. But I think as you are planning for those, there's always that doubt that comes, will I be able to actually do this? Will people come? Because people will be having other things to actually do, sightsee, go out and do stuff. But when you get to the day and you've got 35 people in the room, wow, sticking up until the end of the session, it's always amazing. So you come out of that a totally different person. I took my parachute ride for the first time. I gambled with life, but I came back alive. So yeah, it's some of the other things where when you come home, those kind of experiences, so you'll be in a world of your own.
You can say that again. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Sure, it's all right. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. All right, I think let's quickly, I'll share my screen. Like I said, it's not a training though, but let me just share this. I have a small presentation, yeah. Confirm if you can see this one. All right, you can see this one, is it?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, my network is taking its time. Let me see. All right, so what basically this session is all about is not to really get into detail, like what I said, that the actually trainings on discover, explore, and adventure for JCI, but this one is story time whereby we are just exploring, just knowing that this thing is there and it exists. So that's what we are going actually to look at. All right, so the objectives, like things that we are going to talk about in this session, is what is JCI, the elevator pitch, areas of opportunities, the actions in which we get the areas of opportunities, then the mission, vision, creed, JCI requirements, and a bit of JCI history. So, all right, yeah, just explain who Joram is. Joram is a 23-year-old young man. Joined JCI in 2020, was project treasurer in 2020 for Peace is Possible, became local treasurer 2021, and currently serving as VPB 2022. Quickly move on to this one. All right, the objectives again. So I did this one because this is a special one, AMEC experience, which we have gone to. So now we are getting to what is JCI. So I have a video here, which I'm going to share with you. Okay, I'm not sure why, but it's saying cannot play media. But when I try to, all right, I'll try to get it at the end of this session. All right, so yeah, on this presentation, I defined JCI using the elevator pitch, not I, because the elevator pitch was written, I'm not sure where, but we got this one from the JCI trainings. So this is an explanation of what JCI is. It says Junior Chamber International is a membership-driven global network of dedicated and enterprising young leaders between ages 18 and 40. So this is a highlight. I think what I realized is this elevator pitch is pegged with many words which we should not take for granted because it is what makes JCI. So when we look at the first word, which keyword is membership driven, which means JCI is there when there are members. Without members, there is no JCI, and it's a global network. So it means JCI, when you hear of JCI, in your mind, you have to think of worldwide. You might act locally, but we should be thinking globally because we are a global organization. Then it says of dedicated and enterprising young leaders. I think I bold that one because it's something that we also need to check. People may be members, yes, may have a global network, yes, but if not dedicated, it means we have a missing part as well. So people have to be dedicated. It should be part of the person's values that they are dedicated to whatever they do. They are dedicated to their work. They are dedicated to anything they do. They just put their heart into it. And that's a requirement for JCI. And enterprising young leaders of ages 18 and 40. So if you're in the age 18 and 40, you are a good member for JCI. Active in more than 5,000 locations across nearly 115 countries. This we are explaining how big JCI is, and this should not be taken for granted. When something is existing in 5,000 locations, I think it has a certain value that we need to see in it. Say, okay, how can someone really exist in 5,000 different places? It's something that we need not to take for granted. And existing in 115 countries, also this is very important to take note of, because when you look at some of these organizations around us, we realize some are not even 5 countries. When you look at organizations, be it business organizations, how it is difficult that you have a business in Zimbabwe and you want to get it to Botswana, that kind of thing. But we have JCI existing in 115 countries. It's also something that we need to, to take note of. Developing leaders for a changing world. So JCI is a leadership development organization because it develops leaders for a changing world. Okay, being told about time. So yeah. Sorry. Okay, yeah. Then so I'll ask us to rejoin maybe at 7:40. Yeah. I'll end it before that, then we rejoin so that we get to 8. Okay, then we get to this party, developing leaders for a changing world through 4 actions, which are projects, events, trainings, and programs, so that they become global communicators, entrepreneurs, change makers, and networkers, developing the next generation of leaders in government, business, and civil society. Okay, so each year's a goal. The goal is through the development opportunities being offered, there's something that has to happen. It has to develop the next generation of leaders, be it in government, be it in business, and civil society. By these 3 terms, we mean a person is a leader in each and every sector. Because when you cover civil society, we mean be it wherever the person is, be it at work, be it at church, be it anywhere whereby who you are, you have this skill in leadership that you possess that people cannot actually ignore. So I'll quickly move on to the 4 areas of opportunities. I would want someone to just read the 4 areas of opportunities. Anyone to just take it to read the areas of opportunities? Okay, PP, you can take these ones. All right, sure. Thank you. Thank you, President Fortune.
VPP, thank you. So JCI areas of opportunity include individual development, business and entrepreneurship, community action, and international collaboration, as per the slide shown. Thank you. This is one of the easiest questions to go through.
Thank you so much. All right. So the purpose of this, like I said, is for new members and prospectives who just they don't know what JCI is currently offering and why one should undoubtedly become a JCI member for life. Like why we have all those past presidents and senators who from 18 to 40, they were in JCI and stayed and still are participating in JCI. It is because JCI offers these 4 areas of opportunities, and so far I haven't heard of any organization offering the same opportunities. JCI develops you as a person, individual development. And when you read books, when you go for seminars, they say you just the level of your individual development determines the people you attract, the resources you attract, and the life you live. And JCI is offering exactly that. Business and entrepreneurship is an opportunity that is offered in JCI. It offers community action and also international collaboration. So these are 4 areas of opportunities, and it is very key for every member to know that these areas of opportunity exist, and they all exist for each member, all 4 areas of opportunities, because we are developing a leader with all 4 skills, which is individually developed, who is also in business, and who is looking at community action, doing some action in their community, and who is not just locally confined, but who is looking at doing things at an international level, that kind of thing, having international associations, and yeah, that kind of experience, which is very, very unique. All right, so how does one get these areas of opportunities? I think this is very, very key. All right, I'm moving to the next slide so that we just quickly. Oh, I'm almost done. All right, the 4 actions. So anyone who just want to read the 4 actions, any taker from the participants, anyone who just want to read the 4 actions. Anyone who is in a position to speak.
For the 4 areas of opportunities are achieved through the following actions: projects, programs, events, and trainings.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Madam, for reading this. Right, so the 4 actions are the actions or the vehicles that help us achieve the areas of opportunities. So one has to actually know these by head. So what it is that we do is one needs to identify each and everything that is happening, so that you might be able to identify which area of opportunity is being offered. It's so unfortunate that I think it's a personal story. This one I'm going to share. I said it's a story time. So my first experience was like I got into Pieces Possible project. Okay, that was fine, and yeah, I enjoyed this one. Then the next project was Go Green, I think in 2020, which we're doing with Madam VP Spiwe. During that time, I remember when we went to this children's home. So it was at this point in time when I felt like, you know what, I think I need to quit JCI at some point. And I was like, you know what, I don't think I'm getting the areas of opportunities. What are really these opportunities that JCI is offering? Until, unfortunately, I can say fortunately, in fact. So it was one of the socials that was at Waterfalls, which came, I think, 2 weeks after we had gone to that children's home to do the planting. So when I got there, then Daniel, President Daniel, just passed by where I was with Primrose Javangwe, and we're just talking there. Then Daniel just came through and he just started to talk to us. And he said, you know what you're doing is very good. When you attend a social, you have come and you are benefiting from an area of opportunity, which is socially related. When you were last week, when you were doing that project at Chinyaradzo Children's Home, you were also benefiting from an area of opportunity which came through projects. So it was on that day when I was planning to say, okay, this one is my last JCI activity. So that was in my mind to say, okay, after this social, I'm just going to be quiet and just go silent because I'm not realizing the areas of opportunity. So it took me time, and I thought I could share it even with some prospective members, that we need to identify these areas of opportunities and how they come through. So whenever something is posted in the group, whenever something is advertised, try to align it in those 4 areas and find out which area of opportunity is being addressed by this certain event or a certain program or a certain project or a certain program. If you're part of a project, do not take it for granted, because it's also an area of opportunity. It's a vehicle. So for community action, if you are passionate that, you know what, I feel I need to do something that people can actually, okay, I have less than 1 minute. I think we're just going to reconnect. So let's adjourn, then we reconnect for, I think, for 10 minutes. I'm left with 3 slides only. So I'll adjourn, then we reconnect immediately. Thank you. Shall we? Someone to just confirm?